What's good, y'all? I'm Jerry, about to check out 10 wrestling secrets accidentally revealed on WWE TV. This video is about WrestleMania. 10 secrets that accidentally revealed. I'm not really sure this is going to be on this video, but from the thumbnail, it looked like a razor blade was found inside the ring. Maybe spots being called in, like during certain matches by like John Cena. John Cena always calls out his spots long as hell, or people waiting for their spot to kind of come and show up, not show up, people waiting on their cue to even hit their moves for their spots, amongst other things. So I'm about to hop into this video, man. Let's see what WrestleMania has on this list right here. Let's go. Oh.
10 WWE wrestlers who exposed a big secret on camera. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for daily wrestling videos, and follow us on Facebook for exclusive lists. Number 10, Kevin Owens. Whenever a wrestler is said to bleed in a match, there are numerous ways this can be achieved. A wrestler could use a blood capsule, but this is often messy and sometimes looks quite fake. This can be done well, that's if the camera doesn't pick up on it. The best results are usually when the wrestler uses the capsule in their mouth. Take, for instance, when Rey Mysterio sold...
I thought that shit right there was real as hell when I was a kid, man. This shit happened when I was like... That was like 06, 07, so I also had to be like 10 or 11 at the time. I'm thinking Rey Mysterio actually got his head crushed that night, because Great Khali was crushing everybody's head. He even smashed a watermelon on the episode of SmackDown one day. Man, I thought that shit was real as hell, until I found out what actually goes on behind the scenes and during the matches, and he had a blood capsule like we talking about right now inside his mouth. That's crazy, man.
Script by using a blood capsule. It looked incredibly effective. In fact, this image really scarred a lot of children when they were young. Our wrestler can be opened up the hard way, which means that the wrestler will legitimately be cut open during the match. This is sometimes done via a stiff strike or even a ring post. However,
I remember John Cena got cut open
a razor blade.
by a stiff punch, Randy Orton,
with a small incision.
by elbow.
The small cut will mix with the sweat on the head to create the famous crimson mask.
Damn.
Now the razor blade is usually hidden in the wrestler's wrist tape, or sometimes a referee
will pass to him, then they'll kind of flip over, then they'll blade after that.
When the wrestler is then ready to gig, the referee will then discreetly...
And this part right here, when they actually start blading, I learned that from a documentary like years ago when I was maybe like 14 to 15, and it actually revealed some of the secrets that happen. Like, it's a hidden microphone under the ring that gives the impact whenever a move is taken. Just amongst other things, man. I don't want to get too much into the video, man. I should have said it in the beginning. But when they actually blade, you'll see them when they turn their back, when they land on their stomach and the camera's away from them, they'll kind of hide their face. They actually cut over their foreheads like that to appear that they got cut up, they got busted open. It's crazy.
Handed over to them. But at the 2025 Elimination Chamber event, Kevin Owens was said to bleed during his match versus Sami Zayn. During the action, Owens would legitimately drop the razor blade in the ring. This was actually visible on screen, and this meant that WWE were forced to abandon the blading elements that were scripted in the match.
Damn.
Now thankfully, the lack of blood didn't take away from the match, as the match received universal praise from fans and critics alike. Number 9, Michael Cole. Michael Cole has a key job in WWE, as his role is to guide the audience through the match, as well as direct information from the backstage area to fans at home. Now, sometimes Cole's commentary has been called out for being overly scripted. This was especially the case when Vince McMahon used to bark orders.
Vince McMahon will be in his headset all the time.
At 32, Cole could be seen reading from the script during The Undertaker vs. Shane McMahon, and this completely took fans watching at home out of the moment. The moment would have been 10 times better had Cole just shouted out what he had just seen, such as JR's infamous commentary at 1998's King of the Ring. Obviously, the blame doesn't fall on Cole, as it would have been McMahon that insisted that Cole stick to the script word for word, and he would have been seriously reprimanded if he dared deviate away. But now things are a lot different in WWE. Without the presence of Vince McMahon in Cole's headset, commentary is less scripted. However, that doesn't mean that the commentary team have to stick to some sort of script. Let's fast forward to 2025, and Cole's conversation with Triple H was leaked, thanks to WWE not muting the commentary audio during a commercial, as the commercials would air differently from the UK to the US. This took place at Saturday night's main event. Whilst it exposed the business somewhat, it was reassuring to hear how relaxed and eased Cole sounded during his talk with the boss. Number 8. Randy Orton. Now in 2014, a clip of Randy Orton went viral, and for good reason. Following an episode of Raw in 2014...
I remember that. I remember that right there. He had to stop. He had to make sure the cameras was off so he could stop selling. That's crazy.
Orton asking a production member if Raw was off the air. Once the production team member informed Orton that WWE were indeed off the air, Orton stopped selling immediately and acted like nothing had just happened. Now the footage was captured by numerous fans in attendance, and it definitely broke the illusion of a beaten down pro wrestler for a lot of younger fans in attendance.
Too many camera phones.
Now, if this was a newer member of the WWE roster,
kayfabe
likely would have been punished for this, but due to Orton's tenured status, it was probably laughed off backstage. Number 7. Paul Heyman. Now even when WWE presented unscripted shows such as Talking Smack, Vince McMahon was still heavily directing what the talent said and did, and this was confirmed thanks to Paul Heyman in 2020. In 2020, Heyman appeared on Talking Smack, and he accidentally revealed a memo from McMahon on camera which stated, "Identify all consequences if Roman loses, per Vince."
Whoa.
McMahon would have been absolutely livid that this was caught on camera, especially as WWE were insisting that these types of shows weren't scripted in any capacity. Number 6. Austin Theory. Up until 2022, there was a ton of debate around what was inside the Money in the Bank briefcase. Was there a legitimate contract inside? Did wrestlers store personal items? Well, no, it turned out that the briefcase was completely empty. Now this was seen on Raw in 2022, as Austin Theory's Money in the Bank briefcase would fly right open, and the lack of contents would be exposed to the entire world, as there wasn't even a contract inside the briefcase itself. Now this wasn't exactly Theory's fault, but it was within WWE law that the Money in the Bank briefcase was locked and only
it never been
accessible
open
when the
before.
time came in for a cash-in. It was also acceptable within the law that a physical contract paper would be placed inside. However, that was all exposed. Number 5. MVP. Now, the Inferno match is one of the most visually pleasing matches WWE.
He actually
ever
took some
delivered.
burns in that
It's
match,
obvious
if I'm not
how
mistaken.
WWE keeps the wrestler safe by limiting
I could
any
be lying,
contact with
because
the
what
fire.
they said
During
back
an
then.
appearance at WrestleFest, MVP would claim that he would wear a flannel suit to protect him during his 2006 Inferno match versus Kane. Working with Kane in the Inferno match was terrifying. They set me on fire, man. I was literally on fire.
Yeah, he actually
the cool
got
thing about
caught
it
on
was
fire.
that underneath I had like a flannel suit that was dumped in this like freezing cold gel, and then on top of that I had a dry one, and then the seamstress had to sew the top and bottom together, and then I had the real outfit on top. That gel was so cold that my balls were like up in my stomach. But when it came time to do the match and he set me on fire, that helped out a lot. Now, some may say that MVP was exposing the business here, but a wrestler detailing how a stunt was performed almost 2 decades prior isn't going to shake things up too much in the grand scheme of things. Number 4, Randy Orton, Black Goo. Similarly to blood capsules,
I remember that.
these capsules are placed
This is like
at the last
2020, wasn't it?
second. These are usually hidden on the wrestler's body, or sometimes a referee will keep a hold of it. Randy Orton, despite being a legend, wasn't the best at disguising it when he had to use a capsule for the black liquid during his feud with The Fiend, as he would often be seen putting the capsule in his mouth just seconds before the spot was done. This also goes for Alexa Bliss as well, as during a match at Extreme Rules, Charlotte Flair would destroy Alexa Bliss's beloved Lily doll, and this caused Alexa to go into a full-on meltdown. She would then head up to the stage area, clutching the doll in her hand, but then went into a hypnotic state of rage, foaming from the mouth. Now, those who watch carefully could see Alexa Bliss putting an Alka-Seltzer tablet in her mouth. This would literally lead to the visual effect of her foaming at the mouth. Yeah, kinda looked goofy, didn't it? Number 3, Mick Foley. At the Buried Alive matches,
This is bad camera work.
that has fascinated fans due to the real risk within the match.
Oh, they gonna talk about Undertaker.
The match is executed
Is it?
to perfection. For the match to go down safely, they will use.
Cause I don't know if it's gonna be in this one, but when Undertaker faced Brock, was it? No, it was Undertaker and who the fuck was that? At Vengeance 2003, whatever. Undertaker had a Buried Alive match against somebody. I cannot remember who it was. Kane interfered in the match, caused Undertaker to get buried before the dirt actually. Before they dropped the dirt on Undertaker, you could hear Undertaker saying, "Switch it now, switch it now," to kind of switch the trap door to make it look like all the dirt came on him and he was buried alive. So I don't know if he gonna mention it in this video, but that actually what happened from 2003 Vengeance pay-per-view, where Kane, it was Undertaker versus somebody in a Buried Alive match. I cannot remember who it was, and Kane interfered in the match.
Usually involve multiple wrestlers in
Who the
match.
hell was
For
that?
the actual grave, they will traditionally
It's a button
incorporate
on the side.
door. According to
But
WWE
Undertaker
Hall
said,
of Fame
"Switch it now."
during an interview with Inside the Ropes, when the initial Buried Alive match went down, there was a little safety precautions in place, and he was legitimately gasping for air.
Damn.
Pull me out of that grave, and I'm not acting when I come out of there gasping for breath after 17 minutes of hard work and being buried alive. Now we have to figure out how to fill a 6 foot by 8 foot by 4 foot hole with earth in 5 minutes of TV time. There's a reason why every subsequent Buried Alive match has had a backhoe to simply push the earth in there.
Yeah.
Foley would also reveal that the initial Buried Alive match utilized the aforementioned second shelf. It's me and the Executioner, and then John Bradshaw Layfield comes to help, and Triple
Man,
H
who the
as
fuck
well.
was that
Slowly but
Undertaker
surely
face
we're
at
covering
2003
that earth,
Vengeance?
and at a certain point, they did a
In the Buried
magician
Alive, it was
switcheroo.
was it
The
Brock
live body
Lesnar?
went into the underground layer, and then they brought out a secondary shelf that was filled with earth. Now in 2003, WWE would also accidentally show another added sequence.
Undertaker versus Vince.
During the match between Vince McMahon and The Undertaker, fans could see the dead man using the shovel in the grave, likely using it to access a trapdoor underneath. The next time the camera panned to the grave, The Undertaker was selling, but the shovel had mysteriously disappeared.
He said, "Switch it now."
WWE weren't expecting The Undertaker to be standing upright when the digging was being done. This must have led to a ton of commotion backstage. Number 2, Drew McIntyre.
No, he ain't say it, but you can hear Undertaker
When a
saying, "Switch it
traditional Royal
now."
Rumble match, there's usually a lot of downtime where wrestlers are just selling in the corner. At the 2023 Royal Rumble, Sheamus and Drew McIntyre exposed this by having a casual chat whilst they were supposed to be selling. The camera picked this up in clear view, and this moment led to a ton of discourse.
What was he doing,
online.
commercial break?
Rumble matches are filled with wrestlers just having a chat or zoning out. Another instance was at the 2008 Rumble when CM Punk was marking out over Roddy Piper and Jimmy Snuka. He then proceeded to have a chat with John Morrison before Morrison remembered that the two were in a blood feud just a few months prior. And number 1, Tucker. One of the main talking
What Tucker
points
do?
coming out of the 2020 Hell in a Cell pay-per-view was the fact that Tucker had exposed to the world that WWE promos are scripted.
Yeah.
The pay-per-view featured
Duh.
Miz capturing the Money in the Bank briefcase by defeating Otis. The match featured a notable heel turn from Tucker, who turned on his best friend.
That heel turn did nothing for him.
Following this, Miz and John Morrison would take part in a backstage interview when suddenly they would be interrupted by Tucker. Tucker noticeably had his promo script in hand, and when he realized this, he hilariously threw it to the side. Tucker was clearly hoping that nobody would notice, but this was WWE in the year 2020, so fans could just rewind the clip. The clip went viral, and Tucker was drastically moved down the card as all the blame fell on him for exposing one of the most fundamental elements of how WWE operated at the time. But there you have it, folks. 10
Damn, that's
WWE
crazy.
wrestlers who exposed a big secret on camera. Be sure to leave your comments down below.
Alright, y'all, another great video, man. Let me know down below in the comments of what y'all thought of my reaction to this video. Like, comment, subscribe. Until next time, I'm out. Peace.